So this morning on ITV, bringing us to our fourth discussion segment. As usual, every Monday morning, we go straight, or we begin with issues on aviation. And not too long, the world hosted a forum here in Abuja. International Civil Aviation Organization had its forum here in Abuja, and quite a lot was discussed. And this is the very last episode of the outcome of that meeting. Here we'll take a look at the various infrastructure that will be financed. And of course, your number one aviation freak, a man who cannot stay away from aviation event, whether it's happening in Moon or in Mars, Venus, whatever planet is happening, he must be there. He's seated close here, Mr. Godwin Ike. A very good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Joe. How are you?
I'm fine. How was your weekend?
Wonderful, Joe, as always. And you?
Oh,
and how's a little baby?
Oh, she's fine.
Wonderful, wonderful. I might be a viewers, please welcome to the program.
Yeah, it's a discussion we started 2 weeks ago, and we're going to end it today.
Yeah.
What do we have today?
Yeah, Joe, if you remember last week, we talked about the fact that Nigeria doesn't need her money to really develop the aviation sector, especially the infrastructure required for safety, in the air and general operation of our aviation sector. And I remember you asking a question: what kind of infrastructure? What are those things that constitute infrastructure in the aviation sector? And I took out just one to explain to you that's the wrong way, to explain to you why we should have nothing less than 2 runways, and better still 4 of them in every of the especially international airports in the country. And then I decided that as a plan to bring you the final beautiful live photographs of what happened at the Abuja ICAO Abuja 2017 forum, which of course the Vice President represented Mr. President, and then of course opened the program. So this morning we are going to be looking at some of the infrastructure relevant to Nigeria. There are quite a whole lot, depending on the climate and the area the airport is located. But what we're going to be looking at is some of those infrastructure that are necessary to have in place in Nigeria.
Like which one?
We're going to see in the clip right now, and then those that need to be upgraded. I mean, Joe, before we even take off, let me tell you what a friend called in to say to me yesterday. A friend that returned from the US and wanted to head home to Imo State from Lagos, by air. First of all, they took off and were informed that they couldn't land in Owerri because of Hamatan haze. And then they headed to Enugu. As they were approaching Enugu for landing, the pilot realized that it was grave risk proceeding without landing. He announced to the passengers that he still couldn't do it. And then announced to the passengers that he would try to go to Warri, that from weather information he had, that Warri was at that particular moment the clearest place. And there are people screamed, no, could do what so late in Warri when we are supposed to be running home to Imo State and the rest of them. And then he said, okay, let me try Benin. He left Enugu again and headed to Benin, and barely managed to land safely in Benin, and then people began to look for transport, charter vehicles to now ferry them from Benin all the way to Owerri. It was very ugly experience. Now, Joe, the reason those kind of things would happen is because we don't have the appropriate category of instrument landing system.
But don't you think we are supposed to, in the first place, give kudos to the pilot for landing that plane safely, before we now talk of the challenges, of course, Nigerian aviation is facing, which most time can be addressed when we have the ultra modern instrument landing system, which is category 3.
3C is the top of the range at the moment, category 3C. And like I described to you when I was taking you up on instrument landing system, I said with category 3C and compliant airplanes, the pilot virtually does nothing. In pitch total darkness, you see nothing, but the plane hooks on, heads out, gets to the threshold and touches down, nicely, and then his pilot takes control and makes sure it keeps aligned with the runway and apply his thrust reversers
and that is to say, if that particular airport has equipment that complements the 3C that the airplane has.
Well, that's correct. I mean, if you don't have one on ground and another on board, then there's nothing to do. I mean, those two ends must be in place and must be compliant. And so these are some of the things that we need to really look into and begin to invest in, so that we don't wait until we slaughter people before we begin to run helter-skelter. Okay, let's move on. Can we have clip 1 so that we run through a list of what we can do with our airports infrastructure-wise? Joe, here we are with clip 1, and he's saying here are some aviation infrastructure Nigeria may want to develop or upgrade. And when we're talking about runways, we've already talked a lot about those. Control towers, air traffic service communication facilities, passenger terminals, and you're going to find out that airports make more money from aviation or call it non-aeronautical infrastructure facilities. For instance, I mean, I need to quickly let you know this. Changi Airport in Singapore makes 55% of its income from just facilities in the airport. Not necessarily the taxis and the landing fees and the rest of them that the airlines pay. 55% of the income they rake in that airport is come from these facilities that we are running right now here, because they are well, beautifully established, and for 5 straight years said to be the best international airport in the world. All right?
What kind of facilities?
So that's where running these things that we are running. Air traffic service communication facilities, passenger terminals, hangars where of course you maintain aircraft parking bays, fire stations, workshops, administrative offices, air freight and cargo agents buildings, in-flight catering kitchens. I mean, these are things that you can, as infrastructure, you can set up in order to give you the kind of convenience and the kind of airport we're looking for. Instrument landing system, of course, we already know that the ILS. Taxiways connecting runways with airport. Navigation aids. We have those in place, but we need to upgrade them. Some of them are already in place, but we need to upgrade them, and some are just totally not there. So let's run to clip 2 very quickly. Clip 2, so that here we go, Joe. The list of some aviation infrastructure will continue. Airfield lighting systems. My dear viewers, please correct that word. It's typographical error. They are saying lightning. No, we are talking about lighting. Airfield lighting system. So correct number 15 accordingly. And then number 16, get hold rooms. I mean, those various gates that lead you to the airplane should have their holding rooms where people sit comfortably, and baggage belt carousels. I mean, that's what we fondly call here conveyor belt. Yeah, the real name is baggage belt carousel. Yeah. 18 car parks. You will be amazed, Joe, how much money a lot of airports around the world make out of car parks. But look at what we have in Abuja. It's a waste. I don't want to use the language that comes into my mouth to describe it's a waste.
It is still under construction.
If we have proper multi-level car parks built in there and charge money not only about entering the airport, but then money for parking and keeping your car there for a number of minutes, whole lot of money that will run into billions of naira annually, and that's wasting because the infrastructure is not in place. Okay, now monorails for moving people. Joe, there's no reason we can have monorails running from that airport to Nyanya, to Mararaba, to Central area. We should have these things in place, and they are affordable, and a whole lot of money will be raked in, from this. Any money borrowed to put this infrastructure in place can be recovered. I mean, we just have to set our minds to beginning to develop, our country, rather than a few people addressing their minds to looting. It doesn't make sense. So, aero bridges. You're going to ask me what's an aero bridge. I mean, if one of those 380s, the big jumbo jet, Airbus 380, the largest passenger jet that we have in place today, it can land here. Even if it lands, discharging passengers and boarding passengers will be a whole lot of, because you need these aero bridges so that people can, whatever level that the height of the plane, especially the topmost cabin, is about 3-story, is as good as a 3-story building. That passengers can walk straight from the airport at that level and walk straight in as if they are on the same level with the airplane. So those are the air bridges.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, that's correct. So I wanted you to get it really right. Those are the infrastructure that will need to be in place. And flight information display systems, we have them, but there are more interactive ones that are available today in the world that we must acquire, so that at any point in time, all these announcements that we make at the airport, it happens only in Nigeria. In most civilized climates, you really hear nothing about flights. You just walk to the display, take a look at your flight, what time it's leaving, and when it's boarding, and everything that you need to know just keeps displaying there for you. Nobody tells you anything, and that's why a lot of people who are new travelers run into trouble when they get abroad, because they are waiting for announcement that their flight is about to leave, and then when everybody is boarded and the plane about to leave, they begin to look for one passenger, and that's when they begin to call him, Joe Cadre, wherever you are, head to gate 3C, because otherwise your luggage will be taken out of the airplane and you will miss your flight. Wherever you are, you must be at the gate 3C in the next 3 minutes. Joe Cadre. That's what you hear more often than not abroad for people who are inexperienced travelers who do not know that nobody's going to announce anything. You just go to the display, take a look, find your flight number, and get every information you need, and prepare yourself to be at the appropriate gate and board. That
is when you apply ceteris parable, all that things being equal.
Well.
When there's no what do you call it now, flight delay, when they don't have to reschedule.
No, Joe, you're getting it wrong. Even when you have flight delays, those displays tell you everything. As soon as there's a flight delay, you find it flash there. that, oh, this flight has been delayed, the boarding time is now this. At all times, you are updated. That's how it works. You don't find people, you know, blasting the airwaves with announcements like we have in our, we are way behind with some of this infrastructure. We need to have them in place so that we can join the committee of civilized nations doing things right. And Joe, it's not about money. We can afford it. And not only that, there are funds out there like the ICAO Abuja 2017 has revealed to us. We just have to put our acts together, get this funding, get infrastructure in place, and begin to.
But there's something important that needs to be taught.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes.
Can I just quickly run down, and then we can begin to talk as a flash photograph. Then flight information, I've sent out the feeds. Then number 22, non-aeronautical infrastructure. These are the ones that give you a whole lot of money as an investment at the airport. We're looking at offices for letting, warehouse rentals. You'll be amazed that these are available in most of these big airports abroad, and they make a whole lot of money from them. Duty-free shops, eating outlets, business centers, internet and games facilities. A lot of people who are traveling, even if you are delaying their flight for 10 hours, they can be bothered. They go into the internet and game facilities, spend money playing games, and then using internet to do their business while they wait. These are, and then prayer rooms, especially for our Muslim brothers and sisters who mandatorily must say their prayers at the regular interval. They have to do it decently in a room dedicated for that purpose. Not people littered outside and praying and I mean the decorum required to speak to our Almighty Creator. It requires that people will go into a specially designed room, and
so that they will not be distracted.
That's right, and say prayers without environmental, distractions,
interferences,
and stuff like that. It's important that we have this kind of things as standard in our airports. And then engage the spas, the gyms, the swimming pools. You'll be amazed that people find time. So that they don't, even if they have to spend 24 hours before their flight, they don't bother to go to hotels. They stay around the airport, use facilities available, and before you know it, there is flight time, and they head out to their destinations. So that's where we are with. As Joe begins to ask questions and we talk about it, begin to flash this lovely photographs, starting with our dear Vice President who opened that forum for us. These are live photographs, Joe, and begin to flash them. So, Joe, that's what it looked like. If you look at that photograph there, you will see the Minister of State, Hadi Sirika. That's the second from the right. Well, there are other close-up photographs. Keep moving, because we'll have quite a lot of it. Can you see a closer one? Can you see our amiable Vice President sitting next to Hadi Sirika? And of course, at the edge there is our Additional of ADB, and then two other individuals. Those are, I think, foreigners. Yeah, keep moving. There are quite a lot of them we need to see as our time runs out. Keep moving with the photographs, and let's just keep moving. We've seen this before. Maybe it's a repeat. Just keep going. Get on with it. And that's the president of ICAO, Aliyu. You remember him? That was where he was at.